All right, so again, we're going to taste test the 3 different type of rock crabs that's out there. The red crab, the yellow crab, aka the hybrid, the brown crab. So we're going to taste test all 3 to see what kind of texture it is, how much meat it has, and quite honestly, what meat tastes the best. We all know what Dungeness crab tastes like, but let's see what the rock crab tastes like. So we're going to taste test all 3. Stay tuned, let's watch. So again, this is the hybrid. We're going to go ahead and clean them up. But you see how the legs looks like Dungeness. Those are the cooked Dungeness. See how the legs look like them? But the claws look like rock crabs. See that? So that's what we call a hybrid between the Dungeness and a rock crab. Alright, this is the other monster red crab. Let's see how big it is. Stay still. Stay still. So we're talking about 6.5, close to 6 3/4. These claws are huge. Alright, I'm cooking up the rock crabs and I have my boil going. Of course, if you want to see the recipe, check out some of my videos when I make the spicy crab with butter. Check it out, you get the full recipe. But right now, we're cooking up those rock crabs. So we have a red crab, we have a yellow crab, aka hybrid, we have a brown rock crab. So we have 3 different type of rock crabs in here. And we're going to taste test today to see how the meat is, how's the texture, and how much meat they have in their body. Alright, so in here, I have the butter, the lemon juice, the garlic, and once the butter is melted down, I'm going to add the fresh parsley and we're going to top it off with that. Now that the butter is melted, we're going to go ahead and add the fresh parsley. Alright. So the rock crabs are done. I'm going to go ahead and plate them up. Let's see how they taste. Ooh-wee. This is the red crab. We just got done cooking the crabs. Let's go ahead and add some butter on it. Ooh, look at that butter. Look at that butter. This is the yellow crab, aka hybrid. Let's go ahead and put some butter on this one too. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. And this is the rock crab. That butter. Alright. Here are the rock crabs. So we have the red crab, we have the yellow crab, aka the hybrid, and we have the brown rock crab. So we have 3 different rock crabs here. We're going to go ahead and taste test them to see what meat tastes the best, who has the most meat, and what the texture of the meat tastes like. So we're going to go ahead and try all 3. Let's take a look. Alright, let's get to eating. Whew. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic salt. Gotta have the garlic salt on there. Tastes better with garlic salt. And of course I have some garlic bread as well, so we're going to crack out the garlic bread in a second. But first, let's see which one. Let's do the claw. We're going to do the claw for each one, okay? So we're going to start with the red crab. And comparison, let me get something to compare it for you. So I have a quarter here. So the quarter, in comparison, that's how big the claw is. See that? The claws to the red rock crabs, they're pretty big. So you could fit probably about 10 quarters on this whole claw alone. That's pretty big. Alright, let's get to eating. Dip it in some of that butter. We're going to get straight to the claw. saving these pieces because there's still crab meat on it. These rock crabs, they tend to be very flaky. So this one is sticking onto the shell, and it's fresh. So normally Dungeness, it'll come straight off, a solid piece of meat. But this one's pretty flaky, you know. So that's one. We're going to leave it there. We're going to crack the other ones, and then we're going to taste test all three at one time. So this is the yellow crab. These hybrids, you know, we don't catch them too often. I caught maybe about 2 to 3 a season, maybe. And these are rare, so you rarely find these hybrids around. Red crabs, brown crabs, these rock crabs, you tend to find them a little bit more. As far as these yellow hybrids, they're hard to find. So it's a rare treat. Same thing, the meat sticking to the shell. So I'm gonna keep some of the shell. This one's coming out a little bit more solid than the other one. See how the meat just want to come out? That's a little bit different from this one, because this one, this one, the meat just want to stay in there. So we're going to clean that up. All right. So we got that out. We're going to taste test that next. Let's go ahead and open the brown crab. So these brown crab, the difference is their legs is a lot smaller than the red and the yellow crab, but their claws are just as big. They tend to have a lot of juice in them, so I gotta be careful. Wow, it's so hard, it doesn't even want to crack. That's how tough it is. I don't want to break the cracker. Ooh. Right, so again, see, pretty much bent it. That's how strong it was. The meat, again, is sticking to the claw, sticking to the shell, so it's pretty flaky. So when it comes to flakiness, I want to say brown crab, definitely the most flakiness, then the red crab, and then the yellow crab. So when it comes to the texture of the meat, the yellow crab tend to be a lot firmer, like the Dungeness, compared to like the brown crab, which is very flaky and so forth. So that's that. Let's go ahead and do a taste test. The last part will be how much meat, but then again, it depends on the size. So if you have a big size crab, you tend to have more meat. So it's hard to compare that. But what we can compare is how much space is in between the claws, because like female Dungeness, it might look big, but when you crack open the claw, their meat is very little. It's like it shrinks inside. And that is why their shell is very soft. So as far as the meat wise, you know, the space in between, the red crab tends to have more meat than the rest of the crab. There's less, there tend to be less space in between the shells and the meat. So therefore there's more meat. The brown crab, not so much. The yellow crab is pretty solid, comes out pretty good, but it looks like the red crab, it has more meat. So now, texture-wise, we know the texture, okay? As much as how much meat can come out of a crab, if they were the same size, a red crab can probably produce more meat. Now, how they taste, that's the big part. Let's see how they taste. I'm gonna start with the yellow crab. It has a hint of Dungeness, and it's firm. It's really firm. The texture is very. It's just like Dungeness. It's a very good comparison. Wow, that's pretty good. Tastes just like Dungeness. Quite honestly, I can't compare it with anything else. And you know, when you can keep chewing on it, you know it has some texture to it. So I'm definitely chewing on that. Let's try the red crab next. All right. So again, it's very flaky. So you don't get the whole one. Texture, definitely flaky. Comes off right away. But the meat, very sweet. So far, out of the two, the red crab's the sweetest. It's like, I don't know, when you taste something fresh, really fresh, it's always sweet for some reason. And this is very sweet. That's good. All right, let's try the brown crab. So brown crab, again, very flaky, the most flakiest. That didn't do it justice. Let's find a bigger piece. Okay. Very flaky. Comes soft right away. I barely have to chew it. I got a shell. Okay. I barely have to chew it. It goes down easily. It's very flaky. It's not as sweet as the Dungeness. The yellow crab is probably even sweeter than the brown crab. So the red crab definitely is the sweetest out of all the rock crabs. The brown crab is definitely, the texture is the most flakiest compared to the red crab and the yellow crab. When it comes to the meat wise, it looks like the red crab has less space in between the claws and where the meat is. So therefore, it tends to generate more meat out of the whole crab. So that's the conclusion so far when it comes to the red crab, the yellow crab, and the brown crab. They're all pretty good. They're all good. I love them all, especially if you crack them, take the meat out, and you can make other dishes with it. They're awesome. And if you get a big red crab like this one, oh man, I mean, the claw itself is amazing. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you got something out of it. I hope you go out there and go ahead and catch you some rock crabs as well. You know, the Dungeness, they're great, but don't flake on the rock crabs, because the rock crabs, they taste pretty good. They taste pretty sweet. So I recommend go out there and get you a couple rock crabs. You're allowed 35 rock crabs per day. That's the bag limit. They have to be at least 4 inches or bigger. And quite honestly, the 4 inches, the 5 inches, they're pretty small. They don't have much meat in them anyway. So if you're going to keep some rock crabs, you know, keep them when they're a little bit bigger, like the 6 inch and so forth. Those are a little bit bigger. Those can generate a little bit more meat in them. So you enjoy them a little bit more. So again, these crabs, they're great. They're awesome. And if you happen to catch you a hybrid, that's rare. So enjoy that treat, okay? And if you do catch it and you cook it up, let me know if I'm right. It tastes just like a Dungeness. So if you do catch you a yellow crab, please leave a comment, okay? Make sure you remember this video, and the next time you see a yellow crab, you be like, oh man, I gotta leave a comment, let them know. Let me know how it really tastes, okay? But me, I think a yellow crab tastes just like a Dungeness. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this meal. So until next time, peace out.